Hi everybody. I hope you enjoyed our last book. That's one of my favorites. This time we're going to go over a text called 1984. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that before, but this book deals with a lot of dystopian, futuristic themes, and we're going to go over that. It's still a book that's widely popular and very applicable today too, so it's going to be really interesting and fun. Before we get into this text, I want to know what you guys know about the year 1984 and other types of dystopian literature. So, does anyone know anything about 1984, that time period at all?
Wasn't Reagan president?
Yeah, that's true. Is there anything else you know about that time period? I know, it's a long time ago, but we'll go over it a little bit. 1984 was actually a futuristic text made about the 80s and the 60s. So that's kind of how they imagined that this cold future would be like. And once we read it, you'll get into it a little bit more. So what do you guys know about dystopian societies and like characteristics of those?
They're like Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout's a video game, right? What's it like? How is that dystopian?
After a nuclear war and laws are non-existent.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other characteristics that would be dystopian?
It's like fend for yourself.
Exactly, yeah. So it's very dehumanizing, and culture and everything is lost as we know it. It's totally, there's no plants or anything in that video game. There's nothing green or lush. It's all just dead and sad, and people have to fend for themselves. So those are definitely some characteristics of dystopian societies, is like the total taking away of humanization, everything important like culture, everything we hold dear is gone, and we have to fend for ourselves. So those are important characteristics. Can you guys think of any literature that you already know or that is in our main pop culture at this moment that involves dystopian characteristics?
The Hunger Games.
Yeah, definitely. Why the Hunger Games?
Because they are all, they're living in like separate societies, but they're all like fighting.
Yeah, and that one, yeah, definitely. So they're like dehumanized. They're put in these games where they're pitted against each other and have to kill each other just to survive. So it's definitely a non-utopia society. So it's definitely not perfect.
Ruling classes.
Yeah, there are a lot of ruling classes too, and I think it also took place after a war as well. That kind of wiped everybody out, so it kind of connects back to Fallout like we were talking about before. So those are some really great responses that you guys came up with, so great job. That's going to definitely help you getting into 1984, which is going to be the text that we're studying. So some characteristics that we went over, just to say one more time, is there is a lot of dehumanization involved in dystopian societies. So what dehumanization is basically people are treated like animals and not human. So they're not even given like humane conditions to live in. It would be basically like somebody is forced to work all the time, doesn't get food or water, just really bad, horrible conditions that get rid of somebody's humanity, or try to. Then there is also government control. So in this book, government control is a big theme throughout. The government pretty much controls everything with something called Big Brother, which is this idea that the government is watching you, that they're always watching whatever you do, and that's definitely a huge theme involved. There's also a loss of freedom because of this, which is another theme in dystopian literature. Basically, loss of freedom means that you can't do whatever you like, whenever you'd like. Even laws are tighter in 1984. Like I said, you're being watched all the time, so your freedom is basically gone. And that's another characteristic of dystopian societies. So we're going to delve a little bit deeper into that today as we look at the 1984 Macintosh commercial, and we talk a little more about terms and themes in dystopian society.